It's time to rewind to 1977 and a tense promotion decider at Bolton's old Burnden Park against champions of the league, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Trouble was always going to happen given Wolves took up to 10,000 fans and Bolton could still gain promotion. It could either be a promotion party for both or a disaster. Let's hear the stories. First, we have Bolton old boy Neil, who told us, I remember it well, Wolves had won promotion the week before drawing with Chelsea, who also won promotion at the same match. There was massive trouble between the two firms before, after and during that match. I think Chelsea was supposed to be banned but took a massive firm to Wolves for their promotion party. Trouble ensued all day apparently from the reports. Chelsea were top firm in the old second division and Wolves no mugs either, especially at home. Anyway, on this day about 10,000 Wolves turned up. We didn't expect that many, but of course they were the champions, so we should have guessed. Even at 12 o'clock there were masses of them drinking in around Burden. We were drinking in Manchester Road and headed to the Great Lever End first, but about 500 Wolves came round the corner and stormed the home fans waiting to get in. I ended up knocked to the ground as the rampaging mob of Wolves surged past and headed to the away end of the ground. There had already been mass fighting in the town centre the previous night and all morning apparently. There were quite a few more police, but nowhere near enough to quell a mob of this size. Bolton had a serious bad firm at the time who used to go on the embankment, which was the terracing behind the goal. The away fans were next to you, divided by a 4-foot fence, and the plan was always to attack the away fans by leaping the fence. This plan worked successfully against many away firms, especially that season 76-77. But Wolves bought so many that even the Bolton side was overrun by them. It was probably an hour before kickoff, and one of the Wolves lads climbed the fence into our side, quickly followed by hundreds more. They were in very early, and we had to leave for our own safety. I headed to the lever end, which was already packed, but I managed to get in. This was supposed to be our promotion party, but Wolves scuppered that, and Forest went up instead with a certain Brian Clough in charge. At the end of the match, some Bolton invaded the pitch and headed towards the Wolves' end. Well, that was it. Thousands of them surged onto the pitch, and most headed straight for the home end, the lever. It's a shame the YouTube video cuts off right at the time of the pitch invasion, as it would have made interesting viewing. The lever had already half emptied, either through frustration at the result, or because some Bolton wanted to go round to meet the Wolves coming out of the embankment. Anyway, a few thousand Wolves came right up to the lever, and I thought, Christ, they are going to invade the lever. I turned round to see what our boys were doing, and most had disappeared, leaving a few hundred to stave off thousands of Wolves. Then about 100 Wolves jumped into our end, and the remaining Bolton managed to fight them off, much to the disdain of the goading Wolves fans still on the pitch. I really thought they would all jump in and take the stand, but they just jeered and gesticulated and urged on their fellow lads, who were now jumping back out of the stand onto the pitch. A sort of standoff then emerged, with them still trying to invade and our boys fighting them off. I remember a corner flag being used like a spear by some Wolves nutter, and our boys chucking it back. It was sheer carnage. In the end, the police arrived and managed to force them back to the centre circle, where they waited for their players. Outside on Manchester Road, it was a full-scale riot. Lots of Wolves didn't bother to wait for their players and celebrate. They were already outside the lever waiting for us. It was a disaster for us. There were simply too many of the buggers. We legged it down Croft Lane to safety. People talk about the Chelsea match the same season, but this was worse because of their numbers. Bolton were trying, but sheer weight of numbers forced our boys back time and time again. It was more like Rook's Drift than a football match. Eventually they went on their way, back to the trains and coaches. The last I saw of them was as their coaches were pulling away. All the windows had been put through. Good, I thought. Serves them right. I do hope they had a cold journey home to their hovels. Always hated Wolves ever since. But happy days, what a season that was. Wolves fan, Peter told us. It was mental from start to finish. This was only a week after the infamous clash with Chelsea at Wolves. The promotion party, that turned into a full-scale riot. Wolves had shown Chelsea they were no pushovers, and now it was Bolton's turn to feel the force of the gold and black Barmy army. I went by train, and once we got in the ground we all jumped the barrier and attacked the Bolton that was in the other half of the big open stand. They legged it across the pitch into their own end, closely followed by a baying Wolves mob, as I watched from the Bolton side of the fence with the rest of the Wolves. I actually thought Wolves might go into the Bolton end, but they turned and came back to a warm reception. There wasn't any more trouble until the final whistle, when a massive pitch invasion by Wolves saw about 200 jump into the Bolton end. Fighting lasted a couple of seconds before Bolton ran out. I'd never seen a home end taken quite that easy. The Wolves lads were chasing Bolton out of the ground and into the streets beyond. I turned back with the rest of the Wolves celebrating on the pitch. The police came onto the pitch and tried to move us, so we had running battles with them for a while, until we decided to go and help the Wolves fans that had run the Bolton lads out of their own end. They were now under tremendous pressure in the streets around Bolton, as the Bolton lads were hell-bent on revenge. We attacked from the Bolton lads' rear, and now they were caught in a sort of pincer movement. They got battered, really did. I have never before seen a total victory in football hooligans terms until this moment. First we took their end, and then we ran them ragged on their own streets, and that was that. We got back to the trains and back home, easy peasy day out. Champions of Division 2. Great memories. I met a Bolton lad on holiday once, and he told me that only Wolves and Chelsea had ever taken the lever end, apart from Man United in the 60s. He also said he hated us, and had never forgiven us for that day. So job done then. What a season that was. Mayhem wherever we went. We got badly battered at Forest and Chelsea, never showed at Millwall, but everywhere else was mayhem. At home we had the upper hand against most of them, apart from the three already mentioned. Cardiff, Bolton and several others were surrounded in the South Bank and had to be escorted out the ground. Great season and great memories. We thanks Neil and Peter for their memories. It's clear the Bolton end was invaded, with possibly 200 Wolves fans managing to jump into the home end. Not sure whether you could say it was definitely taken, but it was obviously under intense pressure, in what many describe as a tense atmosphere at the old Burnden Park back in 1977. Bolton's failure to win promotion led the way for a Mr. Brian Clough to gain promotion with his Nottingham Forest team, and so changing the history of football in a way. Were any of you guys at this match? Let us know in the comments what you saw, and if your memories differ from our storytellers. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, as it really helps our channel grow.